Hey, this is Jesse Tooler for BatchFrame.com, and welcome to this video on getting started with the Pseudo Effect Maker. Now this is going to be a very basic getting started video. I'm not going to be going into anything in depth with all of these controls over here. I just want to go through how to install it, how to start using it, and how to create a simple pseudo effect that you can use inside of After Effects. So the first thing you need to do is install the Pseudo Effect Maker, and it's not a script or a plugin, it's actually an extension for After Effects, which means that it's going to be in a ZXP file format. And in After Effects, once it's installed, it's going to show up underneath the extensions menu. Now, to get it to show up in there, you actually have to install it using an installer, which I recommend using the one from AE Scripts website, which you can get at aescripts.com/learn/ZXP installer. You can see they have both a Mac and a Windows version. Once you download and install that, you'll get this simple little tool where you can go to File, Open, choose the Pseudo Effect Maker ZXP file, and it will install it for every version of After Effects that you have installed on your computer, as long as it's version CC or higher. Once you've done that, you open up After Effects, go to Window, Extensions, and Pseudo Effect Maker, and you'll get this panel. Now, the Pseudo Effect Maker has two different sides. We have the Effect Panel side, we have the Control Panel side. Now, the Effect Panel side, once we start adding controls, it's going to give us that visual representation of what our effect is going to look like once it's applied within After Effects. There are some differences between how things appear over here and how they actually appear in After Effects, which I'll go through some of those differences. And another thing you should know is that it's been designed to look like the effect panel from After Effects 2017, which means that if you're using an earlier version of After Effects with this Pseudo Effect Maker, you're still going to see things appear here as if they were in After Effects 2017. However, once you actually apply that control into After Effects, it's going to show up as it should for your version. Now, to add that control, you can see that all I had to do was click on any of these control buttons over here, and it will add that control to our list. If we add a group, you can see it gives us an empty group, which we can then put controls directly into. And you can see that since that group was selected, now all of our controls that we're adding are going right into that group, which we can collapse just to save some space over here. If we want to go back to applying our controls to the outer group, we can simply click on any of these controls out here, which selects that outermost group, and add controls, and you can see now they're no longer in the group. And we can choose a control that's inside the group, and you can see now our controls are being added to that group. You can also actually click and drag your controls, and then put them wherever you need them exactly. So if you have a bigger, more complex control, dragging might be the better options just to keep things easier to organize. Now you also are able to reorganize these controls after you drag them out, simply by going over here to the left side. You can see we have this little grip and we have this little hand icon. Click and drag there, and we can reposition our controls to anywhere we need. You can also copy controls. So let's say we have this group that has 4 different controls in it. If we hold down Alt and click and drag, you can see now we've created a copy of that group. You can also do that for individual controls. So let's say we've set some different settings. Click and drag this angle control. And now you can see we've created that second angle control that has the exact same options as the first. And that does the same thing if you've set all the settings within the group and then you copy the group. All of the settings for every control within the group are also going to be copied over. Now you can see we've gotten things a little bit cluttered here. If we want to delete some controls, go over to that same grip and double click. You can see it highlights the control in blue, and our control panel is gone and replaced with just these two buttons, delete selected and cancel. If we cancel it, everything stays the way it was. However, if we hit delete selected, it asks us if we're sure, hit yes, and it will delete that control. Now once you're in this delete mode, you can see we've highlighted this point control. We can actually continue to click on other controls and add that to the group of controls we want to delete. And now when we hit delete selected, once again asks us if we're sure, hit yes, and you can see it's deleted all 4 of the controls that we selected. Now if you want to start from scratch, you can actually come up here and hit this reset button. Now in After Effects, when you hit reset, it's going to reset all of the values of your controls back to their defaults, which is what we're setting here. However, in the Pseudo Effect Maker, this is actually going to clear everything out so we can start from scratch. So you can see everything is now gone. Down here at the bottom, you can see that when we don't have any controls in our effect, there's nothing shown down here. But as soon as we start adding a control, you can see we get all the different options for that control. So for angle, we can set the total angle, or we can set in terms of full rotations in degrees, which is what we have up here, full rotations in degrees. And this gives us a lot more options to set these defaults than you'll possibly see over here in the effect panel side. Now I'm not going to go through all of the different options you have here. If you do need to know more about all the options for some of these different controls, you can come over here and click on this little question mark. It's going to bring up the help contents, and you can read all about the different controls in detail and some other features in the Pseudo Effect Maker. But I'm not going to be going through that here. So let's reset this once more. And now I just want to show you how to apply your control in After Effects. So let's just create a bunch of different controls. We'll create a group which can hold a bunch of different sliders. And we can set the defaults, but it doesn't really matter. And once we have a control that we're happy with, simply select a layer in your After Effects composition and hit apply. And you can see that immediately we get that exact same control that we have created in the Pseudo Effect Maker over here in After Effects. And you can see that all those default values that we set are still set on our control. And if we change these values and then we hit reset, you can see the value, rather than going to 0, goes to whatever value we had set as that default. And that works for all of the different controls that we've created. Now, rather than applying it, you can also choose to save that control as a preset directly from the Pseudo Effect Maker. So we can hit save. I'll call this tutorial. You can see I already have one that's called tutorial. Hit save. It's saved that file now, and if we go over to the Effects and Presets panel, I'm going to refresh this list. I'll type in tutorial, and here you can see that same preset we just created. Click and drag this out onto the null object. And once again, we have the exact same control, but now rather than applying it directly, it's applied as a preset. Now when you do save that preset file, it can actually be used in any version of After Effects, all the way down to CS6, possibly even older versions than that, and it's still compatible. However, when you're saving out your preset, which means that you're going to go through and you're connect all these controls with expressions to different things, different effects, you're going to select all your effects and stuff, and click and drag it over into the Effects and Presets panel, and you're going to save your own custom preset. When you do this, the version that After Effects saves out is no longer backwards compatible. It's the exact same as how After Effects projects aren't backwards compatible, neither are presets. So the version that's saved from the Pseudo Effect Maker that is backwards compatible, the one from After Effects is not. But you need to create that one from After Effects before your preset can be distributable and actually do anything to a composition. So that's just the basics of the Pseudo Effect Maker. If you need any more help, you can click on this question mark and it's going to bring up the entire help contents that goes through everything you need to know about the Pseudo Effect Maker. But that's it for this video. Thanks a lot for watching. My name is Jesse Tula from BatchFrame.com, and I will see you in the next one.